What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and today we're going to be talking about Sundial stock, ticker symbol SNDL. This stock is doing incredibly well. If you guys haven't seen the last video, we cover some of the massive catalysts regarding legalization that are taking this stock up to the stratosphere. We're going to start off taking a look at the chart, and we're going to cover some of the things going on with Sundial stock, some of what's moving it up, as well as how high it could potentially get, right? We're going to look at the market cap for the stock. We're going to look at some of the statistics for the stock and see how high could this thing potentially go at the end of this video, right? So first off, I want to add some additional information to what I did not cover in the last video that I released. First off, well, some things have changed, right? Obviously, Sundial has continued moving up since the last video. We've done incredibly well in the after hours. The pre-market, we made highs of 93.88 cents. We're actually hitting up a little bit of a resistance level right there. If you look over the past 180 days, you can see the last time that Sundial spiked, it was actually on an earnings call, and it did start to face some resistance right around here, right around 94 cents. And if you draw a line on that, you can actually see that it matches up pretty well with where we just saw some resistance right here. So whether or not we'll get past that today, who knows? It's looking pretty good at the moment, right? We are actually moving up right now, and we've probably got some good news coming later next week. If this Friday doesn't end up blasting us through that, I'm very hopeful, right? We've got a lot of catalysts that could be moving us up today. And we've got a lot going on for Sundial that could be moving us up regardless of legalization, right? So we've got a bunch of good things going on for Sundial. The most obvious we already covered, right? Federal cannabis legalization bill being scheduled for a House floor vote next week. Now, we covered that. Now, as for when the bill is happening, on Monday, there's going to be a hearing regarding the bill. And that is the final step before consideration or a vote on the floor. So on Monday, they're going to have a hearing. And then afterwards, potentially on Monday, potentially in the following days, they'll have a vote actually to see if this thing passes. Now, notably, if you guys missed the last video, this bill has passed in the past, right? So they've actually passed the MORE Act in the past, and I think it'll probably pass this time too, right? Democrats are in control of the House. They passed it last time during December of 2020. I think it'll probably be no problem. Now, the U.S. Senate was the problem last time. However, the U.S. Senate actually, just yesterday, this is some new information I did not cover in the last Sundial video, the U.S. Senate unanimously approves a cannabis reform bill just yesterday on the same day that the House schedules that legalization vote. So this is not a federal legalization bill that they just passed, right? This is actually a bipartisan piece of legislation, right? Republicans, Democrats voting on this, meant to promote research into cannabis, okay? So it's basically just going to streamline the application process for researchers who want to study cannabis and encourage the FDA to develop cannabis-derived medicines. But all in all, it's a very bullish sign for the passing of this bill, right? The Senate's already essentially passing cannabis-related bills. They're essentially saying by passing this bill that they don't have any moral qualms, I suppose, with cannabis, which in the past has been an issue for, at least for some politicians voting on this kind of stuff. And we'll see what they end up passing in the Senate if this bill gets through the House, which I expect it will, right? I expect that we'll probably see this bill, the MORE Act, go through the House, no problem. And then in the Senate, it's going to be a slightly tougher fight. Now, I'm not too worried about the Senate because, of course, we've got Chuck Schumer in the Senate who's already talking about a cannabis bill that he was going to introduce in April. He says that he really wants to advance cannabis legislation, that it's one of his priorities. And I think that we'll have not too much of a problem getting it through the Senate. Obviously, politicians move slowly. It's going to take some time. My biggest worry about legalization actually going through, unfortunately, is Biden, right? Biden has not been too keen on promoting any type of cannabis legalization. And it's a little worrying, right? Do I think he'll actually go against the grain if the House and the Senate have passed these bills and actually end up vetoing them? That's another thing. I don't know if he would actually do that. We're just going to have to wait and see what Biden does, right? Obviously, by the time it gets to Biden's desk, we'll probably have seen massive pumps in Sundial and TLRY and all kinds of cannabis stocks because we'll already have gotten news that, hey, it passed the House, it passed the Senate, it's going to the president's desk. People will be buying that news as well. So we'll already probably see a pump by the time it's been to Biden's desk. And whether or not he signs it, that could either end the pump or continue it greatly, right? So hopefully he will end up signing it if it gets there. Now, there are a couple of things that we're going to look at regarding Sundial, right? Just notably, it's already number 4 on StockTwits, and right under it is TLRY. So already you can see cannabis stocks are starting to take over the most active list on StockTwits, and this hasn't even been 24 hours after the huge pump ups, right? This isn't even 24 hours after the news that cannabis legalization is likely on the way. And we're probably going to see a whole bunch more cannabis stocks populating this most active list sometime over the next couple of weeks and months. Now, I'm not saying that we're just going to continue skyrocketing for the next couple of weeks and months while we end up seeing these bills go through. Obviously, there's the potential that we could have some volatility on the way, right? We might move around. We might move up some days, down some other days, as potentially, news might look better or worse regarding legalization in certain parts of the government. Hopefully, we'll see mostly good news coming out for Sundial. We do have, as we've mentioned before, the Alcanna acquisition later this month, the earnings call later this month. So 2 good things for Sundial individually, aside from all of this cannabis legalization hype. We'll hopefully see some good stuff from them there. But already, people are really starting to look into these stocks. You can see on Google Trends, we're hitting search rankings of 100 this morning, just blowing out of the water what we were doing yesterday around 5 and 6 when this bill was really being talked about, when people were pumping up these stocks, right? A lot of people are looking into Sundial at the moment. You can see we are hitting rankings of 100 this hour, and if we do continue to pump up, I would expect that would only grow, right? We've already done incredibly well in the after hours. We're doing decently in the pre-market. We are up in the pre-market. And I think we have a pretty good chance of being up on the trading day as well, right? It would be great to close the week out green. Now, notably, TLRY, number 2 on Reddit. TLRY is number 2 on Reddit, and Sundial is all the way down here, number 14. I think we can change that, right? I think that over the next couple of days, we can get Sundial moving up a little bit higher on Reddit, especially if we have good days today for cannabis stocks, right? I think that we would probably see Sundial moving up. Now, Sundial typically has been thought of as a bit more of a favorite than TLRY, and you can actually see that on the StockTwits chart. More people are talking about Sundial on StockTwits, but on Reddit, it seems like TLRY is actually taking all the clout, right? 600 mentions compared to Sundial's 89 mentions, and almost 5,000 upvotes compared to Sundial's 474. So TLRY is getting quite a bit of attention on Reddit, but pretty much everywhere else, Sundial is actually outperforming them a little bit. Now, the short interest on Sundial, we don't actually have updated numbers yet since it's only 8 a.m., right? We'll have to wait until the market opens to actually see what Ortex estimates for the short interest. But if you zoom in, you can see that they estimated that yesterday shorts increased their positions somewhat dramatically. About 5 million additional shares of shorts are estimated to be in Sundial. Now, we've got an interesting situation with Sundial shorts, right? There are 239 million of them. And in order to squeeze them out, that's what a lot of people like to do these days, right? A lot of people like to squeeze out shorts. We're probably going to have to get fairly significant price increases, right? Because these shorts, a lot of them at least, have been in Sundial for a while. A lot were building up their positions above $1. You can see over here, a lot were building up their positions when Sundial may have been above $2. So there's probably going to be quite a bit of price increases that are necessary to actually start squeezing out shorts. And if you look at the past 2 years, we'll probably need to get to new highs before we really start squeezing out shorts, because what actually matters for squeezing out shorts is how much capital they've got dedicated to a short squeeze, or sorry, to a short position, and then how much margin they can deal with taking out, right? How much capital is weighing down their portfolio, and the price of the stock just keeps going up and up and up, and that short position becomes heavier and heavier and heavier to hold, essentially, as they need to take out more margin. Eventually, you want to margin call these guys, right? Whoever is shorting this stock and is just holding through, 100%, 200%, 300% gains, you want them to essentially have no other choice but to close their short positions by buying up shares of the stock because they're getting margin called. So to do that, you're going to have to look at, well, if Sundial was $1 and there's 239 million shares short, then that's about $239 million worth of short positions. Now, obviously, it's closer right now to about 90 cents. It's about 88 cents right now. So, give or take about 20 million bucks, $20.3 million. Then, it's that just about that much less. So currently there's about a $200 million short position in Sundial, 220 million maybe. And it's probably going to take quite a bit more, right? That's not just one institution. That's spread across a bunch of different institutions, and they've all got a lot of capital. Now, whether or not they'll want to maintain those short positions while we're experiencing cannabis legalization is another thing entirely. I would expect they probably wouldn't, right? I obviously wouldn't if I was a short, and I'm not. But I'm not a short in the first place. So I really don't know what these guys are thinking. I can't imagine why they've waited this long to cover, if they are going to cover. Sundial was incredibly cheap way back when it was at 40 cents, 50 cents, 60 cents. Now it's at 88 cents, and it looks like there have only been a couple more million additional short shares entered into Sundial. So I really can't imagine what these guys are thinking, why they're still shorting Sundial. I would have covered long ago if I was a short, especially over the past couple of months when Sundial was trading for incredibly cheap valuations, right? So we'll see what the shorts end up doing, but notably, it will probably take Sundial getting at least above $2 or $3 to really start squeezing them out in a big way, right? A lot of them were in Sundial for maybe close to those prices. Obviously, some were still entering around the 50, 60, 70 cent range. So maybe some shorts will start getting squeezed out earlier than that. Now, in terms of a gamma squeeze, we do have there's some potential today, right? Open interest call options on Sundial. There are about 56,000 open interest call options at the $1 strike price expiring today. So that's not the greatest amount, but if we do get Sundial over $1, that would, and especially if we had more people buying these call options, right? That could be somewhat impressive, right? We could see maybe a large swath of people buying into these call options. Obviously, they'd be more expensive than the bid and ask that are being shown of 2 and 3 cents right now. Sundial has moved up since the close of yesterday. It closed the day yesterday around 74 cents. Now it's trading for 88 cents. So it's probably going to take quite a few more dollars to really invest in Sundial call options. My guess is they're going to be getting quite a bit more expensive over the course of today, especially since there's a lot of volatility around Sundial right now. So it'll probably be tough to see a gamma squeeze, right? But if we do get above $1, then notably, any open interest call options that have been sold naked are going to have to be covered, and people are going to have to buy up shares of Sundial to pay out to the owners of those call options, as long as the owners of those call options end up holding the call options and taking delivery of the Sundial shares, right? So that is something, right? If we get above $1 today, which is not too far off, it looks kind of far off, but it's not that far off percentage-wise. It's only about 12%, which we've certainly done since this pump began. Since this pump began, we are up about 36%. So if we go up another 12%, we could get another little boost from a potential gamma squeeze. Nothing crazy from that now. Now, the video is kind of long already, 11:50. So, regarding Sundial, I'll just say this real quick and we'll make a whole video covering it later. Regarding Sundial and its end price, right? How high do you think Sundial can get? I'm going to give you guys a brief explanation on this, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Currently, the market cap is 1.5 billion. So you guys are going to have to think, what market cap do you think Sundial can get to realistically, right? How high do you think Sundial can go? I've outlined some potential situations here. I think there's a very high chance, a very, very high chance that we can get to a $5 billion market cap. I think that would be pretty much no problem with all the legalization catalysts that we're going to have coming for us over the next couple of months. That would be a no-brainer, right? I think that'll happen pretty easily, not financial advice. I think there's a medium to potentially a high chance we could get to $10 billion in market cap, right? That's potentially possible. It's starting to get pretty darn pricey. That's currently actually around where AMC's market cap is. And AMC has been much, much higher than that. And still possible, I think we could get to a $10 billion plus market cap. Past that, it's really impossible to say what exactly we could get to. Every $10 billion increment is going to be tough, but we have seen squeezes in the past. We have seen pumps in the past. AMC, GameStop, Dogecoin, things have gone well above $10 billion. They typically cap out around $70 to $80 billion. So the way that you'll be able to calculate a realistic end price for Sundial based on what you think the market cap can get to is basically just dividing dividing the end market cap that you think you can get to by about 2.06 billion. And that's the dollar cost then that you would have for what you think Sundial could get to realistically. So we'll talk about that in a different video, guys. We'll definitely cover that. I know this video has been longer than some people would want. We'll be doing a live stream this morning at 9, just covering some Sundial stuff. We'll probably talk about the market caps there as well. And we might have to make a whole video dedicated to it because honestly, I don't know how many people got through this whole video and saw that end part, which is actually one of the more important parts regarding Sundial. So we'll definitely cover that later. And if you guys appreciate this video, feel free to subscribe to the channel. That would be much appreciated. Other than that, guys, keep in mind, none of this is financial advice. I'm not recommending anyone do anything with their money. I'm just letting you guys know some of the news, some of the catalysts, and some of what I think about Sundial. And other than that, have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.